Struggling with economics?
Ever feel like you're lost in a sea of graphs and economic jargon? You are not alone. Today, I'll share some strategies that can help you master economics. Economics, much like mathematics, is a multidimensional discipline that necessitates cumulative learning. When you lag in your studies, it becomes increasingly challenging. Simply put, cramming or rote learning will not suffice when preparing for exams, as the subject can become quite complex. Tip 1: Studying economics requires an active and not passive approach. So, after each class, try to read through the chapter at home within a day or two.
Why is this important? With the teacher's examples fresh in your mind, you will be able to understand the textbooks and other supporting material. It will be also easier to fill the gaps in learning simultaneously. Even if you cannot do this every day because of other commitments, probably you should try to do at least once weekly.
Another important thing: don't avoid reading from the prescribed textbooks. They are there for a reason. You can add videos, etc., to support your learning, but textbooks help you to understand the scope of your syllabus at the level you are in. Tip 2: Always have a pencil handy while reading your textbooks to highlight keywords. Suppose I use the word motion or rotation. You will immediately understand that I am talking about physics, probably, isn't it? Think of keywords as the language of the subject. Economics also has its own language and keywords which provide context and aid in understanding. Also remember, when you're using a pencil and your brain together, you are in an active mode. Now let us discuss how to read effectively. The best way to understand economics is to list the steps in each logical argument. Using a logical chain of reasoning helps improve an answer. It also helps avoid jumping to a point without showing how this was arrived at. This will also help the examiner to understand the thinking behind your answer. Second important step we need to keep in mind is we need to develop arguments by recalling cause and effects of each model, especially if you are going to write essays for A levels or IB level. Use graphic organizers such as mind maps and flowcharts to visualize the logical connections between ideas and see how they fit together. Create outlines. This will help you to organize your thoughts and identify any gaps in your reasoning. Another best practice is to simultaneously draw graphs and understand the relationships while reading from the textbook. I have already released two videos on how to learn graphs in economics, the links to which will be available in the description box below. Last best practice is to think about the basic principles of economics and how they relate to what you are learning. For example, you are learning about consumer awareness in economics and you come across the term food adulteration. In economics, we need to understand this in relation to a consumer who should be aware that this is one way through which a shopkeeper might cheat him. If you would be studying biology, it might be important to know the effects of food adulteration on health. But in economics, you should be able to think the impact of this on a consumer's rights or duties, probably.
If you study economics like this, I promise you that you will start liking the subject and will look forward to more classes.
Congratulations! At this stage, you have already marked everything in the textbook, understood everything probably. 50% work is over. Have you noticed one thing? Until now, I have not asked you to memorize anything. You are still building layers of knowledge and information, putting everything in your head, drawing conclusions and comparisons. Now, let's say that you have a class test coming up in weeks' time. Hmm, Definitions are important in economics. No excuse. You need to memorize now. I know we all hate this and we don't believe in this system, but we need to do this for scoring well in the examinations. Also, remember one thing, that memorizing is a skill where we train our mind. This skill is otherwise also needed by us in later life in daily activities. Tip 3: never learn the whole chapter in a day. The key here is to divide and conquer. Break the lesson into manageable parts and tackle each one separately. Begin with the first part, revise it the next day, then move on to the next. This method reinforces your understanding and makes studying less overwhelming. By now, you have already understood, applied, and looked at the lesson in every possible way. It won't be that difficult. You know the keywords, you know the important comparisons, and by now, hopefully, you have deeper understanding of diagrams. Focus on learning definitions and subheadings.
In economics, you will come across many points which you need to remember. Now, I have seen students, they will try to learn probably 4 to 5 out of 10 points and rely on their memory. But our brain can play tricks. In the end, we may be able to recall probably 2. So it's better to keep that in mind. Also, notice that some points are more relevant or important than other points. If you become thorough with the concept, you will be able to analyze these on your own because they'll be very closely related to the concept. It's very important to keep these two things in mind while preparing for the examination.
Tip 4: you have probably heard the saying, practice makes perfect. Well, it's true. After effective reading, now completing exercises and past question papers will help you consolidate your knowledge and sharpen your exam skills. It's the best way to ensure you have really understood the content. Once you do this, you will realize that you are able to do every exercise on your own and have gained mastery over the concepts. Don't you already feel confident? Imagine doing this for every chapter. By the time you have to sit for final examinations, you may not need to even go through each topic again because you already know the most. And finally, we can't forget about consistency. Maintaining a regular study and review schedule is a must in economics. Stick to your plan, and your efforts will certainly pay off. There are a lot of benefits of maintaining consistency. One, it does not overwhelm you. Second benefit is that whether you need to apply your knowledge to higher order thinking questions in CBSE or ISC curriculum, or write essays in IB or A levels, or even write college exams, these steps or techniques would be very helpful to get A's and A star. You must be wondering by now, why should you put so much effort in studying this subject? As you build knowledge, start reading news from around the world. It will all start making sense to you. How the banks work, why everyone is talking about economic growth, how politics is related to all this, what is economic warfare, what is trade war, why or how one country's politics affect another country. Thinking like an economist will help you in making better decisions.
Economics is offered as an elective throughout the world. If you have taken this subject, it means somewhere you really want to learn the subject. And that should be a strong motivation to make these efforts. I assure you that if you follow these strategies, you will definitely fall in love with the subject.
The mantra to succeed is be consistent and never leave it to the end. Don't just take my word for it. Give it a try with just one chapter. You will be surprised by the difference it can make. So, there you have it. These strategies can definitely help you overcome the challenges of studying economics.
I hope that you found this video helpful. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more videos. See you soon.